We'll certainly be taking you to Billy in a short while, but time for us to receive another guest. Remember, in the start of the program, I told you we'll be looking at the place of books in an era where ICT is trending. The habit is quite gaining grounds, especially in Africa, where the social media has become a real focal point for especially students and the youths. They spend most of their time on notably Facebook, Twitter, and all that attracts their attention. Whereas in this time, we're evaluating a literacy rate in Cameroon of over 81%. But how much reading do Cameroonians do? This is coming within scope of the forthcoming World Book Day that will be celebrated precisely on April 23. And we have someone who quite understands this world of books and is with us in the house, Mark Abioko. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
How are you doing? We understand you are an author, and being an author, we want to also believe you have been doing a lot of reading. How are you passionate about reading?
Yes, definitely. I'm passionate about reading because reading is fun, reading is entertainment, and also reading can enable you or can transform your life.
Must reading be done with a book?
Not definitely, because the digital age has given us so many avenues to read, or so many avenues which can enable us read. So we can read online. There are also audio books now, so you don't need to hold a book. Though there are some advantages of holding a book as compared to reading soft copies or reading those online and maybe audio books.
I read online. I think I still acquire the same knowledge if I should handle a book physically. So what are the advantages of having a book physically than reading on online?
Yeah, I think a particular lawyer says when you read a book, a hard copy of the book, just by holding it, you get that flavor, you get that enthusiasm to read. I tell you, when you're reading through your phone, if you're reading through your phone, you're reading a soft copy through your phone, while reading, you can easily be distracted by an incoming message, let's say a text message. And once you're distracted, for example, when you're reading a novel, once you're distracted, for you to come back to that story will be very difficult. But if you're reading with a hard copy, you're taking down your pen to jot, you will not be easily distracted. That's one of the advantages. Secondly, you can jot easily. When you're reading a book, you can jot beside. But soft copies, you can rarely do that,
well,
unless for those people who have big phones. Yeah, but we are talking about generally. Yeah, we're not talking about the few, those who are affluent, who have these iPhones and stuff like that. There are people who have Itel and some other phones, but they are still reading online, but they don't really benefit from such opportunities to take down notes like the iPhones have. So why don't you just read to a hard copy where you have the possibility to take down notes and benefit from the notes afterward?
But don't you think that with the advent of technology, it's even less costly because we don't have to spend on printing material? We don't have, it's obviously the better way to go, but how do you explain the fact that even with this change in time that should better our way of living, it's still coming with more disadvantages?
Yes, let me just answer that question. You see, our main objective as an association, because we have an association called Association of New Generation Authors, we are trying to accompany the Ministry of Art and Culture. We are also accompanying UNESCO. And the main objective here is to make people read, is to make people develop that culture of reading, whichever means, maybe soft copy or hard copy. I just answered you because you asked the advantage that is, not that we are trying to encourage people to read only hard copies. No, we are encouraging people to read whatever means you can. You should read. That is our objective. Your second question is?
How is it?
Okay, despite the fact that there are so many avenues in which people can get books, even less costly, but it's still difficult to get a good percentage of readers. Yeah, I think the problem comes from lack of orientation. Yeah, people are not orientated on the importance of reading, on the significance of reading. And this orientation needs to start from the basic level, from primary school to secondary school. Because when someone is already at the university level or already making his money, he doesn't see the importance of reading again. But at the level of primary and secondary school, we need to, and that is why we have taken the prerogative that as an association, we will go to those schools, we'll go to primary schools, secondary schools, to start orientating them on the importance of reading. We think that if we start at that base, then we can change the country, because leading is reading.
Why must it only take an association to encourage students in a learning environment to read, whereas you have a staff that should be preoccupied with that?
Yes, the issue, if the staff are not doing their job, we are forced to go to the field. Yes, so we cannot flog the staff, we cannot hold them accountable or make a council meeting or a disciplinary council. We don't have that powers. You understand? But if they are failing in their job, then we have to step in to say, no, you people are failing, and if you're failing because of one or two things, we are coming in to either enforce or to rejuvenate or to reawaken.
Now, that is actually my concern. What extra touch do you put to this encouragement procedure that teachers fail to do?
Okay, yes. The first thing is, I talk about orientation. Orientation is lacking. And even if the orientation is there, when you orientate students that go and read books, it's good to read books, and they don't have the finance to get those books. That's one aspect that is lacking. So we are coming as an association to distribute books. UNESCO has a goal of what? Each student one book. So we are coming as an association to see how we can achieve that goal with the support that we are expecting to distribute books, because it's not only about encouraging them to read. Now they can develop that culture of reading, but where will they find the books? That's the first thing. Yeah, where will they find the books? Some don't even know how to get books. Even the online, some don't even know how to download books online. So you still have to orientate them on that. And if they are not technologically equipped, you can give them physical books, distribute to them freely. That is what we want to do. So we think that if you distribute someone, you give somebody a free book, at least since it's free, the person might want to read at least a page. Yes, so.
Now, what books should we read nowadays?
Books generally, all books are important, because you see, authors pass across a message through writing, and that writing is aimed at transmitting an information, and that information is knowledge. So if you want to know about politics, you want to become a political analyst, you read books on politics. If you want to know about the economy, you want to become an economist, you read book on economy. If you want to become a novelist, you want to become a good speaker, you want to become a good writer, you read novels. So those are the orientation we give to people when we go out there. Yes, and if you are broken at times, you start up a business, you are broken, read books on wealth, read motivational books which can stir you up to start back again. So books, the general advice is read, but there are some specificities depending on your interests and depending on the problem you have. So that is the orientation we disperse to people when we go on the ground.
Now, it's always about reading. What's the difference between someone who reads a physical book, someone who reads online, and someone who listens to audiobooks?
I can't really tell that difference. Yeah, but if someone...
Because most motivational speakers and maybe academicians have always want people to read. They want to see the culture of reading come back as it was in the past. Now they fail to understand the fact that times have changed and there have been other approaches. But now, if the goal is to have knowledge, acquire knowledge, reading should not always be the pathway. Do you think?
Oh, okay. Now, the issue is there are people who are encouraging the fact of listening. But I tell you that reading is the base. For example, many people say we can just watch films, we can just watch movies, we can just watch videos, documentaries, stuff. They are good. Nobody is denying that. But reading or books are the origin. Most of these films you see have their origin from books.
Okay.
I give you for example the Bible. Let's say the book of Matthew. If you look, if you watch Jesus film, it's from Matthew, from the book of Matthew. But if you read the book of Matthew, you see that there are so many things that were not acted or that are not in that movie. So if you want to rely only on the movie Jesus film to be acquainted with the knowledge of Jesus Christ, you may have just about 70% of it.
Okay.
So, but when you read the book, you get the origin of it. You get the totality of the knowledge. So most films or videos, documentaries, they don't really tell all. In fact, most of the documentaries or even the speakers, they read before coming to speak.
Right.
So why don't you go to their origin? Why don't you go to their source? You understand? So reading a book is like getting the source.
Now, reading also should endeavor, those who want to read should endeavor to look for quality books. That is, I think that should be the base.
That's
look for
right.
quality books if you have to acquire the knowledge needed for what you are after. And also, the frequency too should come to play, I think.
Yes, that is it. It's good. The operation, when we go out there to orientate people, is operation 20 minutes a day. If you can read 20 minutes a day, in 1 year, you will be able to read 21 books, and that can help you a lot. That can transform your life. And again, it is said that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So likewise, reading a day will always give you something to say.
Mark Abaiko, thank you very much. Should say he's a member of a new generation authors, and they are out to encourage Cameroonians, especially youths, to develop the habit of reading often. We're going to take a quick break.